At 11:47 on a Thursday night, Daniel Ortiz had three things left: 4% battery, $1.87 in his checking account, and one phone call he did not want to make. The gas light was on. His car would not start. And on the passenger seat sat a sealed envelope he had been moving from room to room for 6 days. He already knew the number inside it. What he did not know was that before the night ended, someone would ask him one question, and Daniel would realize the real emergency was not the broken car. 9 days earlier, his paycheck had landed. He worked full-time. He delivered food on weekends. He did not live like a millionaire. So how did he end up trapped in a grocery store parking lot, afraid to open an envelope, with nobody left between him and the bill? The answer begins with what happened in the first 10 minutes after every paycheck. But the decision that finally broke the pattern would not come until Daniel had money again and almost gave all of it away. Daniel lived outside Phoenix and worked customer support for a home security company. His apartment was small but clean. His car was 12 years old. Online, his life looked ordinary. Iced coffee, birthday dinners, a weekend concert, new sneakers every few months. To everyone else, Daniel was doing fine. But every payday followed the same invisible countdown. First, the loud bills: rent, phone, credit card minimums, groceries. Then the charges he had forgotten were waiting: subscriptions, delivery fees, and buy now, pay later installments for things that no longer felt new. None of them looked dangerous alone. Together, they were already spending Friday's paycheck before Daniel woke up. He checked his balance, but not his statements. The balance showed what was there. It did not show how much of it had already been promised. And when friends invited him out, he usually said yes. Saying no felt like confessing that everyone else was moving forward without him. Every good night was being charged to a future version of Daniel. Sooner or later, that version was going to stop answering. The envelope came after an urgent care visit for a kitchen accident. Daniel expected insurance to cover most of it. It did not. He opened the letter once, saw $642, and folded it shut. For 6 days, he moved it from the counter to a drawer, from the drawer to his backpack, and finally to the passenger seat, as if changing its location might change the amount. On Thursday, after a delivery shift, the car made a hard clicking sound. Warning lights flashed. Daniel coasted into the grocery store lot and called roadside assistance. "I'm sorry," the operator said. "Your plan expired last month." The tow would cost $118. Daniel opened his banking app. $1.87. Behind the glass doors, shoppers pushed carts full of food. Daniel had been planning to buy groceries. Now he was calculating whether his phone would die before he found someone willing to rescue him. He scrolled past 3 names before calling his older brother, Marcus. Marcus paid for the tow. He did not lecture Daniel. That made the next part worse. As the tow truck pulled away, Marcus asked, "If I had not answered tonight, what was your plan?" Daniel stared at the envelope on the seat. He had no answer. At home, he placed the medical bill, tow receipt, and debit card on the table. 3 objects. One message: working more hours had never taught his money where to go. The next morning, Marcus arrived with breakfast, a marker, and no motivational speech. On the back of the takeout bag, he drew 4 circles: bills, life, safety, future. Daniel laughed. "I need a raise, not circles." "A raise would help," Marcus said. "But right now, every dollar enters the same room, and every expense gets a chance to grab it." They opened 2 months of transactions. Daniel expected to find one embarrassing mistake. There was not one. That was the disturbing part. The damage came from timing, forgotten claims, and dozens of small decisions made when he was tired. His money did not disappear. It arrived without instructions. They built a payday system. Fixed bills moved to a separate checking account immediately. Groceries, gas, and fun received a weekly limit. And a small transfer went to an emergency account before Daniel could negotiate with himself. The first automatic transfer was $25. Daniel looked at it. "That cannot change anything." Marcus capped the marker. It already changed the order. For the first time, saving was not a hope for whatever survived the month. It happened before the month could take everything. But a system is easiest to believe in before it costs you something. The first month did not feel like a transformation. It felt annoying. Daniel canceled 2 subscriptions. He removed his saved card from delivery apps so that 2 extra taps could interrupt an impulse. He called the clinic, confirmed the bill, and arranged a manageable payment plan. Then he made one rule. Every Friday, 10 minutes with his money. No shame, no dramatic promises, just 10 honest minutes. In week 3, he overspent by $46. The old Daniel would have stopped checking until payday. This time, he opened the app, adjusted the next week, and kept the appointment with himself. When friends planned an expensive brunch, he almost said yes automatically. Instead, he invited them over on Sunday. No one abandoned him. 2 friends admitted they were stressed about money too. After 3 months, his safety account reached $500. It was not enough to solve every emergency, but for the first time, every surprise did not have permission to become a crisis. Daniel thought the hardest part was over. Then, $860 appeared in his account. Most money stories would jump ahead here. Bigger salary, perfect apartment, smiling photo with house keys. Daniel's biggest test did not arrive when he had nothing. It arrived when he finally had something, and for 20 minutes, spent the same money 3 different ways. What he chose next would decide whether the 4 circles were a real system, or just another plan that worked until life became tempting. 5 months after the parking lot, Daniel received an $860 tax refund. His laptop was slow. A newer model was on sale. Friends were planning a weekend in Las Vegas. And the medical bill, the envelope he hated, still had a balance. In one browser tab, he built the laptop cart. In the group chat, he typed, "I'm in." In his head, he had already paid the clinic. 1 refund, 3 futures. Each one felt reasonable. Then Daniel saw the takeout bag pinned beside his desk. Bills, life, safety, future. He waited 10 minutes. Then he moved $500 to emergency savings, used $210 to finish the medical bill, put $100 into a trip fund, and spent $50 on a dinner he could enjoy without guilt. No unboxing video. No airport photo. Nothing strangers would call a breakthrough. But that night, Daniel felt something new. Peace without regret. A month later, the car refused to start again. At the repair counter, the total appeared. $238. The old panic rose in his chest, then stopped. Daniel transferred the money from savings, paid, and drove home. No payday loan, no new credit card balance, no phone call to Marcus. The emergency still happened. It simply did not create a second emergency. And that was when Daniel understood what the $25 had really purchased. Not wealth, time, options. A decision made without fear shouting over it. Once Daniel had breathing room, he noticed something uncomfortable. The system could protect his current income, but it could not raise it. At work, quality assurance roles paid more. Instead of chasing 5 random side hustles, he picked one path, a low-cost data course, and 3 evenings a week practicing spreadsheets and call analysis. For months, nothing visible changed. He still answered support calls. He still drove the old car. He still checked 4 circles every payday. Then, an internal role opened. 9 months after he started, Daniel earned the promotion. His take-home pay rose. The old pattern tried to rise with it. This time, every category did not expand. He increased savings, began a workplace retirement contribution, especially enough to capture any available employer match, and modestly raised his fund money. He built 1 month of essential expenses, then 2. He kept emergency cash accessible and long-term investing separate because investing carries risk. Daniel did not become rich overnight. He became harder to knock down. Nearly 2 years after the grocery store parking lot, Daniel's phone rang at 11:52 on another Thursday night. For half a second, the time alone took him back. It was his friend Naomi. Her apartment's air conditioner had failed during an Arizona heat wave. The repair company wanted a deposit. She was crying, not only because of the heat, but because the bill had nowhere to land. Daniel drove over with a fan and water. He helped her compare options, find a local assistance program, and avoid an expensive short-term loan. Sitting on the floor, Naomi asked, "How did you get so calm about money?" Daniel looked at his phone. He remembered 4% battery, the clicking engine, the sealed envelope, and Marcus asking the question he could not answer. "I didn't get calm first," Daniel said. "I built a system that gave me fewer reasons to panic." 2 years earlier, if nobody answers, what is your plan? Now he had one. Daniel's story is not proof that canceling coffee solves every money problem. Housing, healthcare, debt, wages, and family responsibilities are real. Sometimes earning more or getting qualified help is necessary. But even when income is tight, clarity can create choices. When your next paycheck arrives, pause before the first 10 minutes decide the rest of the month. Name the dollars already promised to bills. Choose a realistic weekly amount for groceries, gas, and life. Automate a small transfer, even $10 or $25, to a separate emergency account. Choose one focused path that could raise your income over time. Do not wait to feel disciplined. Change the order so the helpful decision happens before the easy one. A budget is not a courtroom where every purchase is guilty. It is a map. It tells your money which parts of your life matter most. If your next paycheck had 4 destinations, bills, life, safety, and future, which one needs your attention first? Write just one word in the comments. If this story gave you one practical idea, like the video and subscribe for more human stories about money, work, and the quiet decisions that shape our future. And share it with someone who gets paid every month but still wonders where the money went. You do not need a perfect salary to make your first strong money decision. You need a destination for the next dollar.